Hi everyone! Are you ready to kiss Google Penguin and Google Panda goodbye in 2012 and start planning your SEO strategy for 2013? I hope so. You're in luck. In today's webinar, we have famed SEO expert and CEO of Bronco Internet, Mr. Dave Naylor, who is going to inform you about the SEO trends to ditch from last year and the ones to prepare for in this bright and shiny new year. Dave's going to be covering how to improve your SEO strategy to make 2013 your best year yet, as well as to deal with search engines in a post-Penguin world and trends you can still count on seeing in the new year. What's even better is that this webinar is a sneak peek of what you can expect to hear Dave speak about at his learning session at the London Affiliate Conference. My name is Michaela McNamara, and I am the editor with Casino Affiliate Programs. Thanks so much for joining us today. If you have any questions about Dave's content he presents today, we will be conducting a live Q&A session for the last 20 minutes of the webinar. So just submit your questions in the question panel in the GoToWebinar panel, and I'll be sure to grab them and ask Dave. And before we get started with Dave's content, I want to thank today's sponsor, the London Affiliate Conference. Organized by IGB under the IGB affiliate brand, LAC is the biggest affiliate event in iGaming. It's grown from 600 attendees to nearly 3,000 in just its short 5-year run, making it the backbone of all affiliate events. This year, the conference is a little later. It runs from February 7th through the 10th, and it's free for all affiliates. For more information on LAC, please visit the link on your screen at www.igbaffiliate.com/event/London Affiliate Conference. I also want to say thank you really quickly for nominating CAP for 2 IGB awards, including the Lou Fabiano Award for Best iGaming Community and Best iGaming Network. It's your support that makes these webinars and our video interviews and our articles and our forums possible, so thank you. Now I would like to welcome the star of today's show, Mr. Dave Naylor. Dave Naylor heads up a team of in-house SEOs, web developers, designers, and technical staff within his company, Bronco Internet. Bronco is a digital agency supporting businesses with leading-edge web programming and innovative web design, which is home to the David Naylor brand. Over the past 10 years, Dave has grown a very successful internet company with a proven track record of success, which is why you are all here today. Dave, thank you so much for joining us today. Great to have you here.
Thank you.
Without further ado, I'll let you get to it.
Yeah, so basically, I just want to look a little bit before 2012. I did a presentation ages ago now, it feels, that what I felt that things would look like in the future. And one of the main things that we noticed was that I did a mock-up, and this is before Google had integrated anything really into their search at all. And one of the things that we thought about was things like YouTube would be more integrated, shopping, and we'd have these images within PPC, which wasn't around at the time, and we'd have Gmail integration, and it'd be all super cool. And it didn't kind of work out that way so much. What we did get, though, was things like, if you look at movies now, it's like The Hobbit, this is kind of like a bit of a scary screen because there's no real organics left in there. You know what I mean? It's like I've gone below the fold realistically, and you can see that my local listings are all there for the movie times in where the organic slots would be. Where the ads would be, there's basically movie information and other results around about the Hobbit. So that's kind of interesting from a movie point of view, but it didn't stop there. They started, whoa, we bounced back. That's awesome. It didn't stop there. You know what I mean? It's like you look at things like Liverpool, which is a football club in the UK, quite a big following, so I believe. Being a Leeds United fan, I wouldn't know that. And you look at it, they've got the latest and the previous matches with scores on there, which is kind of like going to knock into football blogs and things like this, because the information there is already there. You know what I mean? The roster's there, which is kind of like a crazy name for like team. What recent posts from the news areas are in there, and football information about the ground and all the rest of it. I'm sure we'll see more integration into there of maps, how to get to the ground, and even buy tickets at some time. It's just obviously Google needs to get some commercial agreements in place, like they did with things like flights and credit cards and hotels and even currency. You know what I mean? It's like it's gone a bit insane, really. You know what I mean? It's like they just integrate into that little one box. And I think what will happen with the integration is that now that they're trialing this Gmail integration into organics, we're really going to see the onslaught of personalization in a way that we've never seen it before. I still get people coming along and saying to me, it's like, hey, look, we're number one. And it's like, no, you're not. You're getting personalization results. And they're saying, no, I'm not even logged in. Yeah, but you've been cookied and you're still getting personalization results. And I think we'll see a lot more of that roll out. But 2012, I think, was the big changes. Obviously, Panda came along in 2011, but we didn't really see the effects of that. And one of the big things with the Panda update was that what happened with it, it started off as a little baby. It was all sweet and it was all cute and it was all cuddly, and it was built basically on the Google AdWords quality score originally about the content on the site. And the first original one that came out, obviously, was basically notified as the farmer update. And we didn't see it in the UK until April time. But what it really affected was like the big content houses, like the demand media type websites. And if memory serves me right, it didn't really affect affiliates at all to start off with. The second one in June did, though. That started to sort of like see people like feel the pain a little bit. And again, it was mainly content. You know what I mean? They were looking at thin content that didn't really have much value. And although Google brought out this big list of things that was very much on the lines of like, this is the big checklist that you need to be looking into, it just didn't feel like that. It didn't feel like, it was almost like, this is the Google Panda wish list. And it was a wish list, you know what I mean? In 2012, and I still see sites that were hit in 2012 for Panda, right in the very early days, and still in Panda now. At the end of the year, we kind of realised that some bad things were starting to happen, and what we did get come along was this little fella. And he wasn't very nice at all. He was the kind of guy that came along that was, hey, I'm going to mess with people's backlinks now. We looked at Panda as being an on-site thing, and we had a few updates. You know what I mean? There was only 4 or 5 of them through 2012. And then Penguin came along, April time was when we first saw it. And this was a backlink thing, you know what I mean? And I think, to be fair, what happened with this was that it was the unnatural link warnings made a lot of people panic and start doing re-inclusion requests with links that they'd bought, and this kind of give them a staple diet of like, this is pattern. Now we can start looking at patterns, and we can build something into an algorithm that we can actually start penalizing websites from. And I say penalizing because realistically, when you look at 2012 rollouts from 2011, what, 5 or 6, 2012, it just went insane. There's the April update where that caught a lot of people. The Panda update where no one really knew what was going on. And a lot of people were, have I been hit by Panda? Was it my backlinks? I'm not getting warnings. And it threw a lot of turmoil. And I think one of the big things certainly from the Penguin side of things was that I don't think we've seen a Penguin release update. Something that is kind of like all the disavow stuff that's been getting pushed in to try and clean up Penguin updates. What's happening with that data? Where's it going? And I think that we'll see that in 2013 much more. And I don't think we'll stop seeing this. I think this will just keep on going and going and going. And I think that we'll hopefully we'll see something which is much more on the lines of how Google perceives these monthly, bi-monthly, quarterly updates. And I think what we'll start to see is these updates running almost in parallel with normal crawl data. So moving forward into 2013, so the 4 things that they've been saying for a long time is that become a brand, improve your presence, you know what I mean? Make sure that you are an internet brand. Clean your links. Even if you get a rankings drops today, you've got to move forward. You've got to get rid of that old stuff. We did a blog post just recently where a site had to change its brand, where we basically disavowed what was left of the bad links from 4 years ago, and we still got denied re-inclusion within Google. So it's how long are you going to spend cleaning the stuff up to how much are you going to spend on a relaunch and the media you can get from a relaunch. Panda has played havoc if you get your own site wrong. So just make sure that your technical side's right. I've seen Google following 301 affiliate links and attributing the affiliate merchant content into the affiliate's website and causing dupe content issues and causing Panda issues from there. I've seen just where there's been a high percentile of affiliate links going out of a website that Google can follow, and again, Google's penalizing for those. I think 2013 is going to definitely be the year for new link strategies. I don't think that things like guest blogging is going to wash really by the latter end of 2013 anyway. I think that Google's still got many problems at the moment, and hopefully, not hopefully, depends which side of the table you're sitting on from the guest blogging side of it, that will stop. And I think that from moving forward in the blogging sphere, I think that blog owners need to really be careful. And I think Google's authorship will really start to identify which are true blogs and which are blogs that have just been set up on, say, expired domains with a bit of page rank, just there to sell links out of. When you see those, you know exactly what sort of blog I'm on about. And I think that Google will learn this even more so in the next Penguin update. And I think they'll use the disavow list information as well to go, oh, that was a blog network that they bought on. And they'll learn from this. Machine learning is going to be all the rage. So SEO and PR, I think this is going to be like one of the major plays for 2013, but don't get mistaken with PR and just releasing press releases for the sake of it. And I pulled this snippet from 2005 from Matt Cutt's blog, where he posted in his comments that a legit press release can get you written up by reporters and editors. Sites may subsequently choose to link to your website, but the actual content of that press release, it doesn't directly affect the site. For example, there's a PR Web one in there, which is kind of a bit scary because they were one of the, well, still are one of the big syndicators. Those hyperlinks don't help avatarfinancial.com in Google. And that's amazing. I mean, that's in 2005, and I'm pretty sure that is still today. I mean, you push out press releases with links in them, Google see these on the wire, and they just discount it. I mean, it's you've got to get the second traction. You've got to get the second hit. You've got to get people writing about that story that you've pushed out on the wire. That's not just duplicating the content that was in the wire. And I think that that's where we're going to start looking at how traditional PR and getting in the newspapers is going to be a massive play. And also, it creates online brand searches. I mean, you look at some of the sites out there that are getting coverage just in the UK newspapers like The Sun and the Daily Mirror and the Telegraph. These sites you would always normally associate with big brands. It's not so much anymore. I'm seeing the smaller players using PR very cleverly to get into mainstream media. And once they do that, people start searching for them. Even if it's just product placement, it's going to be massive. I mean, well, I hope it's going to be massive. I partnered with a PR company 8-9 months ago after hunting for a PR company for 2 years to work with. So I think that that's going to be big. I hope it's going to be big anyway, because if it's not, then I'm going to be sort of like hung out and dry. But if you really do need to buy links, and let's make no mistakes about it, Google is still a link-based search engine. Links are never going to go away. Buying links and selling links is not going to go away in the short term. It's higher risk than it ever was, and you've got to look at the risk to reward. And one of the big things that I always say to myself is that do you think that my domain really matters to me? And if the answer is 100% yes, then every link that you buy, just run through that checklist, check search metrics, see if that site that you're buying on has been hitting a Penguin or a Panda update. It indicates it's just low quality. Check the content on the site is unique and it's indexed and not just on the homepage. Check archive, see if it's been flipped at some time. Check the IP address, see what else is on that IP address. The easiest way to do that is just do IP colon and whatever the IP address in Bing. You know what I mean? They'll give you a whole load of sites, and there's a whole load of services out there as well that'll help you do that. Check for whois age. Check for inflated PR. If a website is 6 months old and it's a PR7 or a PR8, there's something untoward going on there, and it may be just that they faking PR just to get links out of their site, sell it on, move it on, and push away from that. So just be a little bit careful. I'm not going to ever tell anyone don't buy links. I know Google would love me to say that, but I think that sometimes you just have to do it. Just be sensible and careful about it. You know what I mean? It's like, it's most probably walking around with a live grenade. You still got the pin in. You start buying in bad areas, you pull the pin out, and obviously you've still got hold of the grenade. Don't expect one day if you trip and drop that grenade, it won't blow you to tiny smithereens, as they say. But I think that some of the things that we are going to see, even more so, is transparency. You know what I mean? I think, stupid. This is not the slide, by the way. This is me and my stupid keyboard. The arrow keys are all together. I think we'll see transparency much more. I think we're going to have to, and I think the biggest problem that Google's got is that every time they release transparency, they open themselves up to law cases. So I think we'll see a lot more law cases in 2013 as well. We have seen a lot of communication from them. Webmaster Tools is most probably still the most vital part of an SEO's toolkit for ranking in Google these days. It's also the most dangerous part as well. If you have all your sites bundled together into one Webmaster Tools account, or you access multiple Webmaster Tools accounts from the same IP address, don't be stupid. Google can see this. I mean, they can tie everything together. They'll tie everything together just from the cookie that they've dropped on your system. And the internal systems in Google will let them know who is sending in those reports and who is basically looking at these websites, which SEO agencies have worked on these. So if you have had an SEO agency working on your website in the past and you're going to throw them to the sword, or you're going to throw another SEO agency onto the sword and say, company XYZ worked on my website and they never have, Google will know this. And they'll most probably be able to go, actually, this website is not trustworthy. We don't want them to be a part of our index. We're not going to let them back in. So you've got to be honest. You've got to be absolutely brutal and upfront. If you're under any kind of like scrutinization from Google, you've got to come clean. As I kind of like indicated earlier on, that the Panda and Penguin updates, they have to become built in. They have to run as a normal crawl. And remember, I'm old school. I remember Google Dance when the index used to update on a monthly or a quarterly kind of standard rotation. You'd know that every 3 months you'd get a PR update. Every 31 days you'd get an index update, and you'd see how you ranked for that 30 days, and then it'd be cool because you know that you would just rank for those 30 days solidly for the next update, and you could work on working out what improvements you and your competitors made to move up the rankings and what losses other people had taken, to which way Google would turn in the knobs. You can't do that now. People can't reverse engineer Google. It's just impossible. So I think that what we are going to see is, like I say, straight up Panda and Penguin updates. I think the big thing that we're going to see, though, is the disavow update. I think all the disavow links that are getting pushed in there, we're going to see some penalization hitting very heavily on certain websites. And that's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what the knock-on effect of people that have snuck through the gaps on these blogs, or or on these websites that have been selling out links, and they've been disavowed by, I don't know, say 50 webmasters that have got no connection with each other whatsoever, apart from they've bought off that network. What's going to happen when that network comes tumbling down? What are the sites that are going to be left out there that at the moment are ranking, but have still got links on these networks that Google haven't really picked up on yet? So I'm looking forward to that one. I think that the disavow update will be something special, or totally like nothing. It just may come and go, and we may see absolutely zip whatsoever. I think the spam's not going to go away as well. I think that if you just look at some of the competitive search marketplaces, you still see malware in there. You still see hacked websites in there. And I think that a lot of the stuff is still human controlled in Google. And I think that they've only got a certain number of people there that can actually control this. So the way that I see it is that if you can release content so quickly that they can't catch you, that it's got a lifespan of maybe 4 weeks. But if you can push it in a week, then once your first one pops, you've got 3 weeks to get the next one to pop, which you should be able to do in 2 weeks if you're spamming it really, really hard. You know what I mean? And that's just going to keep on rolling. I don't see that side of the industry's really changed at all. If anything, I think it's even got easier, which is frustrating when you work with large brands in those industries, when you see someone that's just run X rumor across a brand new domain, and they get that fresh bot 2 week leniency, and they're pushing them out quicker than Google can catch them, and they're popping in on page one and reaping all the benefits. I think that Google will also look at the affiliate marketplace, and as more feeds that Google pick up on, the more the affiliates will get hit on this sort of stuff as well. I think writing content and dropping affiliate links into the content, I think you're still golden on that sort of stuff. But I think that once they feel that you're taking feeds, I think that's 2013. I think we'll see the end of that. I think you look at it and it'll die. You know what I mean? It's one of those ones where Google don't want that content. And I think that the landmark case with in the EU that Google just won about the monopolization of search and making them changing search results for their own benefits. I think that now that they've won that, it's almost give them the clearer head to go, right, let's start cleaning out a lot of these feed merchants and knocking them on the head. I still see equity pass from feeds though, so I don't know which way it'll actually fold yet, whether it's the fact that if you run an Amazon store or an eBay store, whether if Google kills all those affiliates, what the knock-on effect for Amazon proper would be. I know they get coverage in the media for not paying their bills for the UK tax laws and all this sort of stuff, so they're still getting good equity there. But I think that you look at it from an affiliate point of view, the amount of links that they've gained over the last 5 years alone, you would kind of feel that would carry them for the next 20 years, realistically. But my big thing is for 2013, and I've talked really quickly because I was hoping that I would get this in 30 minutes, and I realized I had 40 minutes, so I kind of messed up a little bit there, is less is more. We've been really going through our clients' websites and saying, look, don't have 1 million pages when 100,000 pages will suffice if you're a content website. Don't have the content just for the sake of having content. These things, you know what I mean, are getting hit on the head. And it hurts when you see a website that, and I'm just going to use random keywords here. If there's someone in those searches that I'm just looking at my office, black chairs. So if you had content of like the best place to buy black chairs in Ripon, and then you had another page which said the best place to buy black chairs in Harrogate and the best place to buy black chairs in London, and then you picked every name in city and just span through all that content. That's the sort of stuff that Google's going to pick up on. Don't be mistaken by the fact that some of that stuff is still in the index. You know, it's like people fall through gaps all the time. And it's one of the biggest jobs that I have is trying to convince in-house teams and my clients that don't always look at what's in the search results at this moment in time. Try to look at what Google's doing. Look at what Google wants. Try and think the way that if you owned Google, what would you want in your index? And they want people to move from Google's index onto people's websites and stick on those websites. They also want Google users to stick on Google user products as well. They want them to stay in YouTube and Google Local and places. So try to make your website interactive. Make sure that people stick around. Make sure that they find something interesting. There's nothing worse from Google's point of view when someone clicks on an organic result and clicks straight back. You know what I mean? It's one of the biggest quality indicators that whatever Google give to their customer, they didn't like it. I think CTR, we know that it's an indicator. I don't think it's a big indicator, but it's definitely an indicator in there. So reduce content on site, just minimize it. Just make sure that you target a page that covers multitude of keywords without stuffing it and going crazy. You know what I mean? It's like just get good content. Journalistic quality content is most probably the hardest sort of thing to get. But if you get that content, that's going to stick around. It's going to stick around a long time. If you're in Panda, don't bother adding new content to your website until you get out of that cost. People will scrape it and that investment will go down the drain. A lot of Panda I see these days is technical, so just make sure that your technical stuff is on there. User-friendly websites, you know what I mean? Cut out the bloat code, you know what I mean? It's like develop websites that are going to work on every device. You can't think of this is a PC or this is a mobile phone. It could be the Xbox, it could be the PlayStation, it could be an Android 7-inch tablet, it could be an iPad or an iPad mini or a Kindle HD. There's so many different platforms out there. You can't build these M.dot websites anymore. You know what I mean? It's like look for responsive design, build something that Google sees as responsive. They will work this out in the time. I don't think they're doing it this moment, but just get there for the future. Mainstream is going to be massive. It has to be. You know what I mean? Eric Schmidt said, must be 2 years ago now, that the internet is a cesspool and brands is going to be the way out of this. He didn't mean brands as in IBM and Polycom and Acer and HP. He means internet brands. When people come to your website and they've searched for your website, that's a brand indicator. Do offline mailing. You know what I mean? One of the things that we do on pre-launches is tell people that if you've got a product, email your local area. You know what I mean? Send out mail shots to via Royal Mail to people and tell them to search Google for your domain. You see the British Army do it in TV advertisements. I mean, that's always dangerous when you go for a generic keyword because someone with authority could actually just come along and steal that sort of thing from you. But it's mainstream media creates brand search. Brand search breeds confidence within Google to give you a deeper crawl and more keywords for the long tail. Panda kills long tail. Brand searches almost brings that brand tail back. I think that I'm most probably just about done, so we can actually go to a Q&A, I think.
The first question is from Mel. It's sort of a long question, so just bear with me, Dave. She said, thanks for being here, and she works for a bingo site, and she was wondering if it is good to address any bad comments on her Facebook page, or do you prefer to deal with it over time? How does SEO affect my social signals?
I don't think, and I get crucified for saying this as well, I don't think social signals affect organic rankings the way that a lot of people say they do. There's been like loads of case studies where people have said, look at this website ranking number 1, it got more tweets and Facebook likes, and therefore that made it number 1. And I'm like, I'm a great believer if your website is number 1, you're going to get more traffic, and therefore you're going to get a large percentage of tweets and Facebook likes. And I've seen websites at number 1 that have had no Facebook likes and no retweets because the content is just rubbish. negative negative comments on Facebook, I guess it really depends on what the comments are about. So if it's negativity that it's just haters, they're always going to hate. But if it's going to affect people leaving Facebook and going to your brand, or it's going to affect people on Facebook searching for your brand, then that may have something to play. I think that from a Google point of view, Google and Facebook don't like each other. They don't trust each other. I kind of feel that Facebook may be out there testing its own organic spider at the moment. Don't know yet. I don't know what Microsoft will think of that as well. So yeah, bad comments. If it's haters because they just hate your website, there's not much you're going to be able to do about that. Answer them civilly, and try and get loyal supporters to kind of shoot it down. One of the things that could be just internet trolls and or competitors even. So handle it in a positive way. Try and put a positive spin on negative comments, and think of it this way: it's updating your feed as well. So if someone comes along and says, it's like, don't use this bingo site because of, I don't know, it's all men trying to use it as a dating website. Then just shoot it down. Get real women that are on your site to interact with your Facebook page, and get positivity from that way. Facebook ads is awesome. You get a lot of traction to your Facebook page on that. And I know that the gambling ads have started to open up a little bit as well. But from a Google organic point of view, you really need to get them to move from Facebook into your website and use Google's web shortener. At least you're giving Google a signal that there's people going from A to B.
Great, thank you for answering that. The next question is from Zoltan, who asks, regarding the football niche, do you think that a newcomer can get better rankings by integrating the rich snippets / microdata regarding upcoming events?
I think Google's going to kill it. I really do. I think that Google is going to look at how the best way for a newcomer in the football niche is try and get first off into Google News, and see if you can start getting syndication from Google News into the Google Organics that way to start off with. The problem with it is, like, you look at the football niche, three big things I always think of is transfer window for rumors. That's massive. It's like that spikes crazily. Betting obviously is massive on the outcomes of games, as well as live streaming and things like this. So anything where you can syndicate that information together, that's going to be golden. But you're going to be up against big players, It's like, to me, I am a football fan, It's like, and my first port of call, if I'm looking for rumors, I go to Sky Sports. I don't even use Google for that. I just go straight there, straight to the team that I want to look for, straight on the transfer desk, and that's why I go. So the same way as I search for books on the internet, I never use Google for searching for books. I just type in amazon.co.uk and start searching. And I think this is going to be the problem for the internet in general, that we have these beasts out there that is Amazon. Amazon, if they release a decent shopping engine, that's going to kill Google. It's like, from the shopping point of view anyway. But yeah, anyone can compete in any marketplace as a newcomer. You just got to get that user base. And I think the user base that I would certainly first start to target is from football, definitely is Twitter is a perfect example. Norwich City ran a Ask Johnny hashtag just recently, and the Leeds fans ran riot with that because Johnny Howson was an ex-Leeds United football player. I'm sure that happens all the time with other clubs all over the place. If you cover that, then you will get Twitter reaction about it. Make it like the top 10 funniest tweets in that football for that weekend. Get that social media buzz going around it. Depending on budgets and stuff like this, newspapers love stats and figures. The problem obviously you've got is that they're very, very, very heavily invested in the football marketplace already. Most of them have sports desks that produce these stats for themselves. If you can find something that's slightly out of the norm you'll get media coverage from it, but you need to build that brand. And yeah, I think anyone can play in any marketplace. I wouldn't be afraid of anything. It's just not cheap when you've got really big brands in there.
Great answer. Thank you. Dave, should all outbound affiliate links on a site be no follow?
I really want to say yes. It's the problem that you always have is that if you no follow, say 90% of your outbound links and leave 10% open, the question I would ask myself is, why are those links open? And if the answer is, well, I'm trying to pass equity to them, then there's an issue there because you're trying to influence Google search. So to me, it's almost like an all or nothing situation where I'll no follow everything, or I will let every link just let equity flow. And if you look at like the big media publishers like AOL, they'll have like a no follow on everything. Anything that goes into their content gets no followed. BBC in certain areas, they've got like a follow policy where every link they don't no follow it, and that's what you've got to try and emulate. So if the real question would be, when should I not no follow backlinks? You know what I mean? When should I let equity flow? And it's an editorial choice. Like I say, we did a blog post yesterday or the day before now on Data Label. That was a company that we basically disavowed pretty much all of their backlinks after a big cleanup operation, and they got the unnatural. We left that every link in there as no followed, you know what I mean, as followed rather. So, and we let equity flow to websites that we'd even approach to say, can you take our links down? Because to me, it's like my editorial has to be, if I'm going to mention something, then it's a vote of confidence. It's something that I don't care. You know what I mean? It's like this website, one of them was John Chow's website. I'm like, yeah, I don't want the comments on there anymore. And he wouldn't remove them. But I'm not going to no follow a link to him because his website does generate good content. The links that were put into the comments were spam. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's like they were silly what they did. They couldn't remove, but I'm not going to penalize that website by letting those links be no followed. So I will always clean link from my content where I think appropriate. If I'm linking to something which is really, really bad, then I'll no follow it, and I'll put a note in there to say that that's the reason why. But it has to be an editorial choice. I don't like no follow.
Okay, thank you for that. Next question is from Ryan. I have recently launched a new live dealer casino site. What linking strategy would you recommend on a new domain that is brand new and has most of the on-page SEO done already?
What's your USP? You know what I mean, what's your unique selling point over the other live dealer websites out there? If there isn't any, wow, it's going to be hard. There's no two ways about it, because you're competing to try and get links from websites that why would they link to you? Run a competition. You know what I mean? It's like do something that as an outreach. Media stuff is always awesome. You know what I mean? It's like if you can get something coverage for something stupid, you know what I mean? It's like I can try and think of the advertisement I saw just recently for live casinos on Sky, and I'm like, wow, that looked like an affiliate URL, and I wasn't far wrong off that either. And they'd run a TV advertisement. And I'm like, and I couldn't believe that they'd actually done that. I've seen broadband ones do it just recently as well as another affiliate run TV advertisements. So I don't know what the TV advertisements are like in the US, but I'm sure they're going to get brand traffic from that, which is again another signal. Infographics, I hate them. I hate them with a passion, and I'm sure that they're going to die this year, but they're still getting link equity and it's still working. It's a tough one. I need to see what like the USP is and then work a way around that. Media, it's mainstream media if you can get into it. Celebrity endorsement if you can get a celebrity into it. Give something away ludicrous. that has got nothing to do with your industry whatsoever, but geeks absolutely love it. I don't know. It's a tough one. It really is hard because it's like without sitting down and kind of like going through it, it's one of the things that we really try to avoid is just saying, yeah, go out and get like 1,000 blog posts. I think that's high risk these days.
Great, thank you. So next question is from Vincenzo, who says, content length of a page or a blog post. Initially, I thought it was 300 words and unique. Now I heard it suggested to reach 500 words. What's your opinion?
I think that if you look, I don't think like word count means anything. I really don't. If perfect example, the Telegraph recently linked to me, and the whole article was just like on the lines of, these are the hot spots for Friday, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it was just basically the title of the post and a link, and I'm happy with that. You know what I mean? I was happy that there was most probably 5 sentences with maybe 10 words in it. So what's that? 50 words maximum on that page of content. I think once you get down to patterning content for linkage, I think that's dangerous. You know what I mean? It's like I really think that if you kind of go 300 words, 2 links, push it, push it, push it. Right, you know what I mean? Get content written in 3 different ways and look at it as being like low grade content that you can just push out wherever you want to. There can be a tweet size, you know what I mean, 140 characters worth of content with a link embedded into it. Semi-professional written content, you know what I mean, the sort of stuff that you can get quite cheaply on Odesk. The Just let them flow. Don't give them a word count. Yeah, in fact, pay by the word. That way, you'll get much more content written for your dollar as well. And then investigative content where you're paying, I don't know, the most we ever pay is much about $400 for a piece of content to be written, but it had to be well researched and put together, and that most probably got us once the content was published. I don't know, 600, 700 backlinks. So again, it's what the content's there to achieve. If you're just pushing content to put a link in to get onto people's blog networks and stuff like that, I would be asking myself, oh my God, you know what I mean? How long is this content going to actually live out there? And how long is those networks going to live out there? If you're looking for content on your site, makes no difference. You know what I mean? If you're the first one to break an exploit or a hole or an image, you know what I mean? It's like if you were the first person to see Google's new YouTube and you basically did a screenshot and said, oh my God, this is what YouTube's going to look like. And that's all it was. You're going to get links from that. You know what I mean? So sometimes you just got to get lucky, but I would never give a specific size on content production.
Okay. Another question. I have a lot coming in. This is from Samuel. Did the exact match domain Google update really impact websites? I have the impression that generic domain names with the correct content optimization always rank better than other websites. Am I right? What do you think about that?
I think you are right. I think that an EMD domain will always kick ass over a non-EMD domain. The problem that we did see was that the EMDs that did get hit were more things like, I don't know, cheapholidaysinvegas.com. I've just made that up, by the way. Don't quote me on that one. Where it was more of a phrase match. And then don't forget, we also got the PMD as well, which was the partial match domains. So it was things like, I don't know, Play Online Casinos ABC, Play Online Casinos DEF, Play Online Casinos FGH. Because for a while, those were absolutely popping up all over the place, and they were not getting hit on the EMDs. EMD and the PMD stuff is still, I think I've only seen it run maybe 3 times now. So whether we'll see more integration into that, but yeah, definitely a keyword-rich domain is still going to dominate in organics. A non-keyword-rich domain is going to be a lot easier for media to pick up on. No one likes linking to, you know what I mean, I don't know, cheap holidays online for you. You know what I mean, people would rather just link to holidayrentals.com or something like that.
Great. I have a question from Mina, who said, can you send us a checklist of things to do to fix Penguin penalties? Instead of sending a checklist, can you summarize a few things that our affiliate audience can do to fix their Penguin penalties?
Seriously, if I could create a checklist that I could 100% guarantee that would clean up Penguin, yeah, it would be on my blog now. I would share that with the world for free. At this moment in time, I have had 5 Penguin issues. 3 of them I've successfully fixed, and each one of those was totally different in execution. One of them I blogged about. Well, Rory blogged about, one of my in-house SEOs just recently, and we left nothing unturned. You know what I mean? It's like we contacted everyone that we could. The previous SEOs had built their own link network that had got burned, which was the original unnatural link warning that they got. All that got took down. The only thing that was really left up there was, the old like directory submits. And that's the only thing that we could really find that could be holding them back, and comment spam. Well, you can't email a blogger and say, hey dude, I spammed your blog. In fact, we did do this. You know what I mean? I spammed your blog and now Google's penalizing me. Can you take that link away, please? Because they go, ha, sod you. You spam my blog, I'm going to hold you down. And directories, how many people in the day build directories just to pass equity or sell links out of, and just move on, put false information on there? So it makes it almost impossible to get rid of those. And we disavowed all those, and we still got the no, you're still screwed email. So I would love to say I know the answer. I think that I really don't want to say this, but I'm going to have to. I think that this disavow list thing is really smoke and mirrors. I think it's a trigger to support your re-inclusion request, to say, this is my re-inclusion request. These are the links I've asked to get removed. This is the stuff that I can't get removed. And if they feel that you're being lazy, then they're not going to let you back in. You know what I mean? You've got to show them that you really, really, really tried, and you've got to almost answer a question that they've not asked, and that question changes every time. So it could be the things like, you built your own network. We want you to we want you to say that. You've got to own up to this network that we know about that you built, or you abuse PR Newswire, and therefore all your backlinks were syndicated, and that's why you got penalized. Or you spammed my blog guest, or you spammed this, or you did this. That they in their mind, it's a human thing. A human has put a note on your website and said, this is the penalization, and we're not going to lift until that. And the 3 that we've successfully had removed, one was a very large brand, and we said, hands up. We did a blogger outreach and we got lazy, and one blogger said, I've got a couple of blogs. Do you want to do it at X amount per post, and I'll run it for on the blogs that I've got? And then he did 100 of them, because that's how big his network was. And when his network got burnt, he wouldn't take them down. And we had a lot of backwards and forwards, and we used a disavow list on that, and that one came back. That was when it was in beta. The second one was hit by Penguin, and we kind of felt that we knew where the issues were with that one, that it was a certain type of link that we'd cleaned up a lot of it, but the other sites were pretty much dead in the water. We disavowed that list, and we didn't actually do a re-inclusion request. We just left it and went, well, we'll wait for the next Penguin update and see what happens. The next Penguin update ran, and we came out of that one. We had another one which we did exactly the same, and it stuck in Penguin. And then we started the re-inclusion requests, and with 3 re-inclusion requests in now, after months and months of cleanup, they have 1.3 million backlinks. So it's kind of a bit of a tricky one to clean all that stuff up, and it's costing an absolute bomb. And you know what I mean, they're primarily screwed realistically. So that's one that is kind of like we're stuck on at the moment. Data label we blogged about. That's our second failure. And the third one was basically unnatural link warning. We identified the network where the links were. We got all the links taken down and basically did a re-inclusion request. And in the Penguin update, we came back in that one as well. So if I had a checklist, I would like go, yay, this is what you do. The main thing is remove the links. I don't like, we request removal or no follow. I hate just doing no follow. I always feel that with a no followed link, you're just one template update away from being back in trouble again. You know, I mean, it's like I've updated my template 3 or 4 times, and sometimes I'll go, yeah, let all the comments be followed links, and then the next update I'll go, nah, unfollow them all again. So you never know which way a template's going to go, and if your link's in there, it may be followed for years and years. It's caused you a problem. You get it no followed. They update the web design. The no follow gets released, and bam, you're back in it again. And you try to explain to Google it was them, not me. I've not paid for anything. So yeah, I haven't got a checklist. It's a lot of it is hard graft, getting the stuff removed. There is tools out there that'll help you now. They're not cheap. I think it's most probably, it's not overly. It used to be about $560. It's $249. I will try and find the link and tweet it out later on. I can't remember the site at the moment.
Great. To add on to that no follow comment you made, someone had asked, could it be useful to get backlinks from a .gov or .edu site with a high page rank if the link is a no follow link?
Yeah. As long as people are visiting that site and clicking through off it.
Okay. What is your opinion on negative SEO?
I hate it. I think that, well, it's twofold. It's a great way to actually run negative SEO on yourself if you're being Penguin, and then go, hey, look, it was negative SEO that screwed me up. Can we please get back in there? Negative SEO has always been around. Okay, it's from the very early days when I first got into the internet game. I used to play heavily in the inkjet cartridge marketplace, and me and this guy, a competitor, we used to do awful things to each other, until one day we actually got in touch with each other and said, should we just stop this and let's kind of like not work together, but stop messing with each other, because we're spending more time messing with each other than we are actually promoting our own stuff now. So that was kind of like that. We worked moving away from the negativity side of things. I've had loads of toxic links chucked at me. Sometimes it's hurt me, sometimes it hasn't. The problem is with it in today's society is that you can get caught by Penguin and it's going to take 3 months before you actually get lifted out of Penguin. And I think that sucks. I do see cases of neg SEO popping up now and again. I do believe in karma, and 9 times out of 10 we can track down who's been doing what, and normally the client is not very happy about when they find out who's been doing it. But yeah, it's out there. It's not fun. People do create dupe content on other people's websites and push massive amounts of links in there. I still see domain hijacking. I still see toxic links getting pushed into people's websites. I even saw one company spend over 20k on that's pound notes, not dollars, on backlinks to a competitor on known networks. And you look and it's like, really, are we ever going to get away from that? It's been around. It's never going to go away. So yeah, it's an awful thing when it happens to you. Plan A is make friends with a Googler. It's not always easy, especially when you're an affiliate and you're running sort of like right along the edge. B, have a secondary domain set up. Start seeding it, so you can always flip flop it. So if you get burnt on a link type thing, you can flip out the content and leave that and walk away from it, but just get some authority fed into like your secondary. Again, not everyone can do that because it's not cheap to do, but I don't know. I haven't got a solution to negative SEO because you can't stop it. It's like you can't stop drink drivers smashing into your car.
That's a good analogy. Okay, I just want to let everyone know we have about 5 minutes left. So if you have any last minute questions, please get them in. I'll do my best to ask Dave. Dave, I have a question from Christian who asks, I have a Belgian website in Dutch. Now I want to start the same website in French, also for the Belgian market. But my website is a keyword domain, so I can't use the same domain because it's Dutch. So what's the best way to start the French website?
Wow. I guess you can. Okay, so I guess I need to fire a question back on that really, because it's like, can you buy the French variant of the keyword domain, and then just tie the two together?
He said yes.
I would do that then.
Okay.
Straight off the bat and tie them together, even if it's just via flag icons in the baseline to start off with. So you basically got French and was it French and Dutch or French and Belgium? I can't remember now. But if it's so, you got Belgium content and French content, and then if you're going to clone it exactly, but just with different content on there, use the rel language settings. I've seen limited success, but the success that I've seen has been impressive. You could also set up, if you want to go a little bit sneaky, set up an FR on your Belgium domain. Get that content seeded first, so you pass the domain equity to the FR on the sub or an FR on a folder structure, and then cross-domain rel canonicalization from the French content on the Belgium or Dutch domain into the new FR domain. Does that make sense? Does he say yes again?
Let's see. He didn't answer. Oh, wait. No, he didn't answer.
Okay. I mean, that's the way that I've done it in the past, where I've had a domain name, say davenaylor.co.uk. I wanted to move into German with the same URL structure. I set up de.davidnaylor.co.uk, then put all the German content onto that, let it get indexed, but I also own davidnaylor.de. I move the content from the DE subdomain onto the davidnaylor.de domain, and then rel canonical all the old content to the new content, and then start publishing on the new one.
Okay. I have time for one more question. Dave, what should the anchor text variation be if my main keyword is casino? And then he says 70% brand variation and the rest target casino and other similar keywords. Maybe just answer variation of keywords in a piece of content.
Brand is massive. Okay, if you look at the bingo space, and I can't really go this way. I've seen people with 70% anchor text for casino, and then over the last 6 to 3 months, this is on a different keyword, not casino, by the way, and I may have intimated that the bingo one was one that was doing this. And I've seen them slowly but surely changing all their anchor text, and I've seen it down to almost like they're now around about 90% of domain equity links. So that is anything like www domain name, brand, and that sort of stuff. So it's, brand and keyword I cluster together. So if you were Dave Naylor Casino.co.uk, then I would have brand of like play Dave Naylor Casino online. Obviously, if you're an EMD, it's going to be a slightly different strategy to this. Straight www links, non-www links to if I had like landing pages for bonuses and things like this, or for generic language settings, so I get an even spread. But like I say, I've seen 90% at the moment, and then 10% split across. Like 10%, normally I've seen around about 50% on the top half of that 10, and then 50% split across a lot of other keywords. So you could still have casino in the brand searches. So anything that's got the brand and any other phrase match, pull that data, push it to one side. What you've got left, so count all that up. So if you say you got 100,000 backlinks for all of that, take 10% of that. So you've got 10,000 backlinks, 5,000 straight out anchor text, 5,000 mixed anchor text without a brand mention, if that makes sense.
Well, I hope so for them. So, Dave, I had a couple people ask if they could contact you directly. Would you be willing to share your email address?
Yeah, sure. It's just basically dave@bronco.co.uk. If you want to ask me, I'm quite active on Twitter as well. Obviously, that's kind of a bit of a public domain. If you basically tweet, Dave, can you follow me? I need to DM you. I tend to just follow people like that anyway, so that they can DM me. If I unfollow you after that, don't worry. It's not that I hated you or anything like that. It's just that I do that. I don't know why. I guess I'm a dick. But yeah, dave@bronco.co.uk is my email address. And feel free to email me.
Thank you. Well, that concludes our Q&A and our webinar today. Dave, thank you so much for joining us. I feel like it was a really great presentation and you answered a ton of great questions. And hopefully our affiliate audience took away some great information to get started on their SEO strategy in 2013. Be sure to check Dave out at LAC in just a few short weeks. He'll be there and you already have a sneak peek of what to expect. As always, the recorded version of this webinar will be available on CAP, hopefully by Friday of this week. So thank you again for joining us, everyone, and thanks, Dave. Have a great day, everybody.
Cheers. Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.